Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's edition of Closer Look. Scott Sexsmith is off today. I'm replacing him. I'm Michael Friscolanti, the editor-in-chief here at Village Media. I'm very happy to be joined today by Jessica Owen. She's a reporter at Collingwood Today. We have great teams of journalists all over the province, and Jessica's definitely one of them. She's here today because she was nominated this week for a Canadian Association of Journalists Award for human rights reporting for a very in-depth, a very powerful article she wrote last year. Let's just start with that, Jess. So just to be nominated for an award like this is quite a prestigious thing. How does it feel to be named among these other groups of journalists?
It's so exciting for me. It's definitely a big career achievement. So I came from print before coming to Village Media. And when you're in print, the pool is a little smaller for awards, right? You're doing like the Ontario Canadian or the Ontario Newspaper, Community Newspaper Awards, or the pool is smaller. But when you move to an online medium, the pool gets much, much bigger. Mm-hmm. And when it comes to awards, you're competing, sometimes just one person. In this case, it was just me. You're competing against very large publications who sometimes have entire bureaus dedicated to investigative journalism. So I kind of feel like I already won something by just being named a finalist. I might just fall over and die if I actually won, but I really feel, I always feel really blessed to be able to tell the stories of a smaller community. Mm-hmm. And to just see that recognized on such a big scale is very satisfying for me.
Absolutely. And I think, a lot of people realize being a journalist, sometimes you're very much in the day-to-day, hour-to-hour grind of the work we do, especially covering local communities. We don't wake up every day thinking, I'm going to do something today that's going to get nominated for an award. There are a lot of things that have to kind of come into place. The right story has to come in front of you. You have to do that really deep dive level of reporting. In that vein, what does it mean to you to be nominated for this award as a local journalist in Collingwood?
As a local journalist in Collingwood, in the past, I've tried not to get caught up in awards, because I think it can shift focus. Like, I'm here and I do this job because it's important to me to tell stories of small communities. Small communities a lot of times get forgotten when it comes to discourse about major issues, right? Mm-hmm. So it really does mean a lot. It means so much more than I can even express in words, being nominated for this award. Mm-hmm. and being a finalist.
Absolutely. It's an extremely serious piece, a heartbreaking piece in a lot of ways. It's a story of a Simcoe County woman who was sexually assaulted and really struggled to find the basics of supports in the community after falling victim to this terrible crime. It took a lot of, obviously, care and compassion to tell a story like this. From the beginning, when this became something you started reporting on, why was it so important for you to tell this story in full?
Well, I think when it comes to sexual assault, a lot of these things don't get reported in a fulsome way, or in a holistic way. 1 in 4 women across North America have been sexually assaulted or will be sexually assaulted in their lifetime. Men also deal with sexual assault. Like, this isn't a crime that happens infrequently. It happens so often that you would think we'd have. When I was writing this story, I thought that we would have better supports than there are. Every call I made, everything I uncovered in what the steps you're supposed to take when something like this happens, I just found myself disappointed at every turn. Mm-hmm.
Which fuels the reporting, right? Which makes you want to learn more and dig more.
Yeah. And so it was important. Also, being a woman myself and being a woman in a male-dominated industry, I do feel some sense of responsibility to be telling women's stories, to be shedding a light on the stories and on the issues that impact women the most. And I think this is one of those stories.
Obviously, Jess, this is not an easy story to tell. You're dealing with a person who's gone through a horrible situation. They're the victim of a terrible crime. So you're trying to treat that person with respect and empathy while also dig into the facts of the story. What was the most challenging for you as you pull this piece together?
The most challenging thing in this story, to be completely honest, was hearing it. And I sat with Cassie in her room. It was just me and her. She was in her bed. I was in a chair. I sat with her for 3.5 hours while she told me absolutely every single detail of the story. There were parts where I teared up a little bit, like I'm not made of stone, and this is a horrific thing that happened to her. And so that is absolutely the most challenging part, is hearing it. But I find in this job, we actually have the power to do something by raising awareness. And that's kind of what keeps me going, is like, we hear horrific and traumatic things sometimes in doing this job and doing journalism. And the way that we help is by shining a light on it so that people in the community understand the issue, and that maybe change can happen once an issue is fully understood. Only then can change really happen, right? So that was absolutely the most challenging part, was hearing it, sitting with her. She described injuries, but I also saw a lot of the injuries and sitting with her. And it still sits with me. I think that happens for every story we do, or that, at least for me, that it comes from trauma or is traumatic, is a part of it stays with you forever. And this story was no exception.
For sure. And I think people may think that we are like stone, as you said, and it's and it's the victim has gone through the worst of it here, but in these cases we're trying to tell these stories, and it takes a lot of toll on the journalist doing this piece as well. People think that it's an easy thing to do. It definitely isn't. And you mentioned the idea as well that the goal, of course, is to shine a light and to hopefully get some answers and to maybe improve the system as it is. Is the victim in this case hopeful that this kind of coverage will do that, will help improve the system?
She is. I'm not sure where it will go. I know she's continuing in her work to advocate for change, and I'm really hopeful that having her story all in one place will help her in that endeavor.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you chatting with us, Jessica. Congratulations again on the nomination. It was an excellent piece of journalism. Everyone here at Village is very proud of you. Wishing you all the best when we hear the news.
Thank you so much.